Good morning, good morning. Yesterday, a new relic called Perkfection was added into the relic list in the upcoming Runescape 3 leagues. And this relic is ludicrously powerful. People are vastly underestimating its utility and usage, and it's also a super comfortable perk to use. I feel like even if there's strong relic choices besides it, it's gonna be a really annoying perk to leave out. Like, you're gonna feel bad about not taking this one. So what is Perkfection and Invention? Invention is a skill introduced in Runescape 3 to solve a simple issue. A lot of the older drops were losing their value as new power creep came in. So older drops or older items would be made into components with Invention to use as useful tools for perks that you can put into your existing gear, and also to make different kind of inventions that you can use throughout the game. I think that Invention is an amazing idea as a skill, and it's a really cool skill to train later on in the game. But especially the early game Invention can be a huge pain for Iron Man, because you have to source all the components for the material starting from zero, and this usually means you have to do all kinds of shop runs or weird grinds, and the skill is really slow to train early on. Like, it is recommended by the RuneScape Wiki's efficiency guide for Iron Man that you just do Tears of Gothics from level 4 after the tutorial to whatever level that gives. So what is Perkfection and how does it affect Invention? Perkfection gives you access to infinite invention materials, which means that you can use a lot of the tools you wouldn't normally use in Invention because the materials are not worth the gathering cost. If you get access to this perk early on, this means that you can get some weird new trading methods that you wouldn't normally use, like the auto sanctifier that you can make that gives a prayer altar bonus when used in combination with a bone crusher, giving incredibly easy XP for prayer. There's also XP accumulators for gathering skills to speed those up, and Invention gives access to a plethora of other tools as well that are actively used in the game. Want to teleport to a ferrying? Boom, you basically get a teletablet. Same with spirit trees. Also, the infinite invention materials reduces some grinds in the mid-game that you would have to do for components for your gear, which means that your combat gear and your skilling gear is gonna get boosted by these different perks and buffs, and you're gonna get the different best in slot perks and buffs early on easily. And usually when using these invention items and machines that you can also make, these would cost you divine shards that can be a bit annoying to gather and require a high level of divination or PVM to get. But with this perk, that is not a problem, because you get 0 charge consumption using this perk. And I feel like they're gonna add a charge reduction. They're gonna have to add a charge reduction into the baseline perks, but having a 0 charge is gonna be really good for the early game especially. The third effect this relic gives is a 10% increase to helpful relics, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of underwhelming because when you get an item to level 20, this does nothing, because it's the exact same thing, it's the same effect. This perk also makes your invention machines run twice as fast, which are a huge quality of life upgrade to your gameplay. So what are invention machines? They are passive machines that you can use to make different materials. For normal gameplay, the most important one of these is the auto disassembler, because it gives you a passive surge of invention components, so you don't have to sit there and disassemble actively. But because with this relic, we don't have to disassemble at all if we don't want to. We can ignore this machine, so we effectively gain a machine slot as well. So what machines should you use with this buff? Well, since this relic will give you infinite gold, we won't be needing to use the auto alchemizer. So there's only 3 options, and guess what? There's 3 different machine slots that you can use. There's the plank maker, the hide tanner, and the partial potion producer that makes you unfinished potions. So these machines will reduce annoying grinding spots from other skills. And the last 2 parts of this relic basically mean that you will get a free alch with no resource cost, because you already have infinite materials, they don't matter. And your alch will give you a 66% chance to save the resource, which means that this is basically Golden God. This is like the exact same thing, but there's some advantages to this, like you can AFK an alch Never mind, Golden God did you could do 60 at a time. So it's basically literally the same thing as Golden God, except without the magic XP. Oh, and you can also skip a mini quest line. That's not much, but you know, we take a skipped quest line anytime. So as you can see, this perk is extremely versatile and powerful, and the utility of Invention to be able to use earlier in the game is gonna be huge for any account. And I didn't even mention that Invention is like, you wanna perk all your combat gear with Invention perks, then they can take a lot of time to grind for them, so you're skipping all of that. Also, every skilling item can be used with an Invention perk that gives them various benefits. And there's so many different things that Invention is useful for, and this basically gives all of them for you for free, with the added benefit of being Golden God. So this is an extremely top-heavy perk, and I feel like it's gonna be a hard time for there to be a better perk in the same tier, especially if this is early on that you would take rather than this one. But I can also kinda see where this is going. I think this is gonna be matched up with a Herbivore perk that's gonna give you like infinite supplies or whatever, so you can get overloads fast. And I feel like that would be a really insane comparison and kind of a pick your poison on grinds on what you wanna do. So what do you think? What are the best uses for this relic, and what could be a possible match for it in terms of power and utility? Let me know in the comments down below. Also like, subscribe, whatever. See ya!